Greetings everybody, Fu again. This is part 2 of our build thread on a Republic Commando. Today we'll be focusing on cutting out your armor. We're going to start from the head down here. When you get your pieces, there's going to be a lip that sticks out from all your plastic here. If you take a look at the leg, I reattached some so you can kind of see what the lip's going to look like. What'll happen is you're going to have a 90-degree off that sticks out where the plastic has flattened out on the mold. You're going to take your Dremel and find the edge that works best for you. For the chest piece, I recommend that you give it a downward slant so that it comes in close and meets your ab section. And you'll see a break in the definition where it gets a little more bumpy. That's where the buck ended and you were just into slag material. So you're going to go ahead and cut along that line. And so you've got a good curve that matches all the way around. Remember, cutting armor is a lot like doing your haircut. You can always take off more, but it's hard to put it back on. So be conservative with your cutting. Get a good shape that works for you. Follow all your edges. Plan out ahead. Take a dry erase marker or a pencil and plan out where you're going to cut. Just sketch it on there. And then remember, always cut less. You can take off more if it's not working for you. At this point, just do a rough cut. Don't worry about perfection. You're going to be sanding all this later. As you move farther down, ab piece, when you get to the middle ab piece in the TZA armor, which is going to be different from PA, I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge on mine, but I'm going to round it, and I'll be coating this later with a plasti dip. Something I saw on the board seemed like a good idea. Since this is going to be a floater piece, you're going to want it to be very rough, able to handle rough maneuvering so that it doesn't lose its paint or scratch the paint off above or below. When you get into the lower ab piece and the cod section, there's plenty of jokes we could add for this, but the biggest thing to worry about here is that you're covered but flexible. If you have too much cod piece out there, it's going to bang into your thighs, and that is just going to be awful when you try walking around. So follow the curve as best you can, and this is another area where it's going to be to the individual. I probably took off a good inch here. You're going to need to just set this onto your body and see where it's going to work best for you. It may be a little too deep, so you have to cut out more. This is a back and forth process where you're just going to hold it up to your body and you're going to see, okay, where's my hip hit? Is it rubbing here? Can I move my leg? Okay, I might need to take a little bit more off of that. So work with it, little pieces at a time. On the thighs here, you can see a little better the lip that you're going to have. Obviously you wouldn't want to keep all that on there. You'd never get your leg in it. So as you cut, you want to make sure that you get that. Yeah, I wish it was that easy. You're going to make sure that on the legs especially, you've got a straight upright edge. You don't want any lip coming over in towards your leg, or it'll dig in as you walk and you'll be miserable, plus it'll tear up your undersuit. Top and bottom, same thing. And on the sides, you're just going for the straightest edge you can get. The buck does a really good job of keeping that if you just follow the inside of the lip. Keep a straight edge so that when you go to meet up the back half of the thigh, you'll have a decent seam. I cut the knee a little big on purpose just to show you the buck difference here. As we rotate up, you can see this line here right down the middle there. That line is where the buck stopped and the plastic extended past. So you're going to want to go back and cut just above that buck line so that you've got a smooth transition. You don't have to keep doing a lot of bond work. Plus that would be way too thick for your knee anyway. But I wanted to show you what that line looked like. You'll see that on most of your pieces. That's the indentation and the difference in smoothness that you're looking for that you're going to cut on. Calves, they're working on 2 models right now. This is a front back calf. And we're talking right now about doing a side calf for different closures. But the front back calf, same thing. You want to go straight edge so that you can get a decent line when you try to match up with the back half. And again, I purposely didn't cut off all the lip. And you can see that would snag on your shoe. So you want to make sure that you get all that lip all the way off. Your forearms are going to be solid across the front when you get them. I've left a little bit of a lip, you can see there, because I use pipe insulation on the inside of my forearms because unless you are Popeye, no one has forearms that big. So I use a little pipe insulation. It's self-adhesive on the inside to help secure it, and that lip, as long as you sand it down, will help make it look a little smoother. I left front and back. Just helps it give it a little more tapered look, especially to help with the detail. Biceps, same kind of thing. You're going to want minuscule lip, if any. I will probably end up sanding all this lip off or rounding it, top and bottom. You're going to want this to be a snug fit. So again, if you don't have enormous arms, go ahead and use the pipe insulation. It's a good filler, and it'll help get you past that lip. Now when you do the pegs here, you're going to need a little more lip on there simply to keep the strength for that detail piece, otherwise it's going to snap off on you. So keep that a little thicker. Just remember to pat it out, and you should be okay there. With your shoulder bells, I really like the TZA shoulder bell. It fits in well to the other pieces. I think it's a good proportion, and they take a variation on where it meets up with the actual collar piece. Matches up squarely as opposed to a rounded edge. I really like it a lot. I think it'll make for a smooth fit. So again, follow your buck line around. This is a really important one to draw it because it's such a smooth buck. You might need to do a little freehand work. Just remember to keep that angle all the way around and keep that bad boy smooth. And this is probably the most important part for trimming, the butt plate. As you get on this edge here, this is where the back of your thigh and your butt meet. I've cut this probably 4 or 5 times now, taking off little bits each time and then putting it on to see where it's rubbing, where it's pinching, because you don't want to be chafing all day, that kind of thing. That is the bulk of getting your armor cut. I recommend that when you're using the Dremel tool, you cut from left to right. With the way the blade spins, if you try going the opposite way, the blade's going to run with it and it's going to tend to bounce on your armor. A little skip is okay. No pun intended at skip, designer skip. If the blade skips, don't worry about it too much. Remember, this is supposed to be Commando. It's supposed to be roughed up and look like it's seen some action. But I recommend that you cut from left to right so that you can control the blade a little better. And as you cut, you're going to get this piling up. Awkward transition. You're going to get this piling on the edge. Now on the edge you cut off, obviously that doesn't matter. But on the piece you keep, give it about 10-20 seconds after you cut it and it'll be solid. And the nice thing about ABS is it just breaks right off. So that's cutting your armor. In our next section, we'll work on how to do your acetone wash and scrub down.